The first time my life changed was while I was scrolling through short videos in my rented room. That night, I had just finished work. The takeout boxes on the table hadn't been cleared away yet. The city lights outside shone through the glass into the room. I leaned against the headboard, habitually scrolling through my phone. An ordinary young man spends most of his time repeating the same life. Go to work, go home, eat, sleep. I sometimes fantasize that one day I can escape the mundane. But when the alarm clock rings the next day, I still have to face reality. My name is Winyen. In my past life, I had neither a distinguished background nor any special abilities. Until that day, the phone screen suddenly stopped. A black interface unlike anything seen before overlaid the original video. There is only one sentence above. A soul matching the criteria has been detected. Whether to accept the choice of living in another world. I was stunned for a moment. My first thought was that someone had developed a new type of prank software. But the next second, I found that the time on my phone had stopped. The cars that flew past the window stopped in midair. The water droplets on the table were suspended there. The whole world seemed to have been put on pause. At that moment, I knew this was no ordinary procedure. The black interface slowly unfolds. After making your choice, you will enter a new world. Please select one accompanying ability. 4 options appeared before you: eternal life, teleportation, cure, lottery. The last option is unlimited storage space. If it were an ordinary person, they would probably choose immortality without hesitation. A long life represents infinite possibilities. But I looked at those options and thought about them for a long time. Immortality can only solve the problem of time. Teleportation can only solve the problem of movement. Healing can only address the problem of injury. Lotteries are full of unknowns. The infinite storage, though seemingly ordinary, has unlimited potential for growth. In a strange world, what is most important? It's not about living a long time. It's not about running fast. Rather, it possesses the ability to accumulate everything: resource, wealth, material, the trump card. Therefore, I chose unlimited storage space. After confirming the selection, new text appears on the black screen. Ability rule binding. Storage space is unlocked as one's life realm advances. Each breakthrough in a major realm unlocks a storage slot. The storage compartment can replicate inanimate, unconscious, and structurally stable items. Life forms, souls, and rule-based items cannot be copied. Seeing this, I became even more certain that I had made the right choice. This ability didn't allow me to achieve instant success, but it gave me unlimited potential to grow. The next moment, a beam of light enveloped my consciousness. Coordinates of the other world confirmed. Reincarnation begins. I lost all sense of perception. When I opened my eyes again, I have become a baby on the continent of Atlantis. This is a world for the extraordinary. Humans established empires. Elves controlled nature. And dragons soared through the skies. The average person's lifespan is only a few decades. Powerful wizards and knights, however, can transcend the limitations of life and possess long lifespans. The rules here are very simple. The weak can only accept their fate. Only the strong can change their destiny. My new identity is that of the last bloodline of the Wen family in the Scarlet Moon territory. My father, Wenhe, was a high-ranking gold knight in the Imperial Frontier Expeditionary Legion. My mother, Ayase, is a high-ranking wizard who is proficient in the elements of gold and fire. They were once involved in the expansion of the Empire's borders. He died in battle while protecting tens of thousands of civilians during a horde of abyssal beasts. My parents didn't leave me much, because most of their wealth has been invested in border construction. The remaining resources were also sealed away according to the rules of the Empire, to be inherited by me when I come of age. So when I was a child, I didn't become the noble young master that everyone envied. I live in the small house left by my parents. There was only one person by my side. Butler Zoran. Young master, have you finished your medicine for today? When I was 10 years old, Zoran stood in front of me holding a potion. His hair was already gray, and his back was somewhat hunched. But every morning, he would still check my cultivation progress. He will personally check my diet in the evening. He is not my relative. However, they took on the responsibilities of family members. I asked him that question when I was a child. Uncle Zoran, why have you been taking care of me all this time? He remained silent for a while. Because before the master left, he entrusted the young master to me. He said he didn't want his children to grow up without anyone remembering him. I've remembered that sentence for many years. before I turned 12. I kept my secret hidden, because I don't know when the unlimited storage slots will be available. I don't know if this ability will be discovered by others. I can only live like a normal child, learn about the world, understand the wizard and knight systems, waiting for your own opportunity. The extraordinary system of the continent of Atlantis is divided into two major directions. Wizards use their mental power to connect with the elements and construct rune arrays. Knights rely on their bloodline and physique to break through the limits of life. Talent determines your starting point. Effort determines altitude. The awakening ceremony at age 12 is the first opportunity for all children to change their destiny. The day before awakening, Zoran helped me tidy my clothes. His movements were slow. Young master, don't put too much pressure on yourself tomorrow. Being able to become an ordinary superhuman is already more fortunate than many people. I looked at myself in the mirror. I smiled. Uncle Zoran, I want to go further. He looked at me. His eyes held both relief and worry. Like the master and mistress? I shook my head. Go further than them. The next day, Crimson Moon City Awakening Plaza. Hundreds of teenagers stood there. The white-robed wizard in charge of the awakening placed his hand on the crystal ball. A voice echoed across the square. Awakening your talent determines your future path. Keep your mind calm. One after another, the teenagers completed the test. Someone has awakened the fire element. Some people have awakened their power and bloodline. Some people, lacking any talent, could only leave in disappointment. Finally, the wizard in charge of recording read out my name. Wen Yen. Step forward. I walked toward the awakening platform. All eyes were on me, because the Wen family was once an important family in the Scarlet Moon territory. Everyone wanted to know whether this war orphan had inherited his parents' talents. My hand touched the crystal ball. At the very beginning, nothing has changed. A few seconds later, a silver light appeared inside the crystal ball. The wizard in charge of the awakening shuddered. Spiritual resonance. Top-tier mental talent. The square fell silent instantly. The next moment, the crystal ball changed again. A sharp golden light shot into the sky. Gold element affinity. Top-notch. Everyone was completely excited. 2 top-tier talents. This is a sight that only happens once every few decades. However, just when everyone thought it was over, a third layer of texture appeared on the surface of the crystal ball. The wizard stared at the test results, his voice trembling slightly. Physical enhancement. High-level talent. This moment, the entire awakening square fell silent. I stood there, listening to the whispers around me. A true genius has emerged in the Wen family. The future of the Crimson Moon territory is likely to change drastically. I just looked at my own hands, because it happened at the very moment the talent was successfully awakened. A voice echoed from the depths of my mind. Confirmation of the realm of life. Storage space activated. First slot unlocked. Ability that has been dormant for 12 years. It has finally started operating. My era. And so it officially began. For 3 days after the awakening ended, the entire Scarlet Moon City was discussing one name, Wen Yen. Some say that after years of silence, the Wen family has finally found a new successor. Some say that the emergence of 2 top-tier talents is enough to change the status of a family for decades to come. When these sounds reached my ears, I was in the courtyard reading an ancient book about the supernatural system. Zoran carried the tea into the study. Young master, we've had a lot of visitors these past few days. I didn't look up. Is it all to confirm my talent? Zoran nodded. There were nobles and merchants. They want to build a relationship with you in advance. I closed the book. What they saw was my talent. What really matters is the future. Zoran looked at me with a complicated expression. He knew I was different from other children from a young age. Before other children awaken, they expect to become knights or wizards. I started learning the rules of this world at a very early age, because I know talent is just the starting point. To truly take control of your destiny, you must have your own path. In the past few days, I have finally confirmed the ability to have unlimited storage space. After successfully awakening, a special space appeared in my mental sea. It was completely empty inside. There is only one storage compartment. I tried putting in a piece of ordinary ore. The next moment, a prompt came from my consciousness. Item recording complete. Copy function activated. When I took out the ore again, 2 identical pieces appeared in my hand. After multiple tests, I confirmed several rules. Ordinary ores can be replicated. Magical materials can be replicated. Pharmaceutical materials can be replicated. But life cannot be replicated. Items with consciousness cannot be copied. Treasures possessing special power and rules cannot be replicated. This restriction did not disappoint me. On the contrary, it made me feel more at ease. If anything can be infinitely replicated, this ability would actually prevent me from growing. True power is never acquired suddenly. Instead, it has enough time to accumulate experience. On the morning of the third day, the Marquis of Scarlet Moon's mansion has sent an envoy. The newcomer was dressed in black knight's armor. He stood at the door and bowed to me. Young Master Wen Yen, the Marquis invites you to his residence. Zoran stood to the side. Upon hearing the word Marquis, his expression turned serious. Young Master, Marquis Hetherin of the Crimson Moon is a renowned powerhouse throughout the entire South. I nodded. Over the past few years, I have come to know some of the world's top figures. Marquis Hetherin is a master of two top-tier talents. She possesses both ice elemental power and spiritual power. He became a high-ranking wizard at a young age. They hold an absolute position in the Scarlet Moon territory. She agreed to see me. This means that my awakening has come into her view. After arriving at the Marquis's mansion, I met Heatherland for the first time. She sat in the center of the hall. There was no imposing or oppressive aura as I had imagined. Instead, she resembled an ordinary noblewoman. But the way she looked at me made me feel a powerful spiritual force. Wen Yen, do you know why I saw you? I stood in the center of the hall. Because of my talent. Heatherland smiled. Clever. Many young people are eager to show off when faced with such an opportunity. But you analyzed the reasons first. She gestured for me to sit down. Your parents were outstanding pioneers of the Empire. I've always felt sorry for them who died on the border. Now that I see the children they left behind, I understand one thing. The Wen family's story is not over. I didn't say anything, waiting for her to continue. Heather picked up the teacup on the table. The Atlantis Empire has a rule. The land between lords is not permanently fixed. Every so often, the southern region will readjust the territorial allocation. 25 years from now, the area I am in charge of will be rotated, and according to the current arrangements, you are very likely to become my neighbor in the future. I understood what she meant. She didn't simply nurture a genius. She is an ally who is investing in the future in advance. Heather looked at me. Wen Yen, you have the qualifications to become a strong person. But talent is only a possibility. What truly determines your future is whether you can transform your advantages into strength. I said seriously. What does Your Excellency the Marquis wish me to do? Heatherland didn't beat around the bush. First, improve your cultivation level as soon as possible. Second, don't hide your talent too much. Third, establish your own strength in advance. She stood up. A Lord Warrior will not be facing solitary battles in the future. Territory, resource, followers, army. These factors will determine your potential. These words made me truly understand the profession of Lord Wizard for the first time. I used to think that becoming strong meant constantly improving one's strength. Now I understand. Those who truly stand at the top need to control more things. Strength is only one aspect. Heatherland led me to the backyard of the Marquis's mansion. A huge, ice-blue dragon lay there. It opened its eyes. A terrifying pressure spread instantly. This is my contract partner, Eve, Heatherland said. 7th-tier frost dragon. I looked at that giant dragon. This is the first time I've truly felt the power of the world's top life form. Eve glanced down at me. Then he slowly closed his eyes. Heatherland said, it recognizes your potential. A slight stirring in my heart. Because just now, my mental energy actually sensed a trace of the power fluctuations within the dragon's bloodline. My exceptional mental talent has given me a more acute perception than the average person. This is also a significant advantage for the road ahead. When leaving the Marquis's mansion, Heather gave me a communication jade pendant. If you encounter any problems that you can't solve in the future, you can contact me. Then, she took out a crystal that emitted a pure light. This is a top-tier magic crystal with no attributes. Enough to support an ordinary wizard's cultivation for a very long time. I took the magic crystal. The surface remains calm. An idea had already formed in my mind. If this magic crystal enters my storage space, what happens? I didn't try it on the spot. Because of the real secret. It must be reserved for the safest time. After returning to the mansion, Zoran looked at the items on the table. The Marquis values you highly. I nodded. She sees the future. That evening, I sat alone in the room. He grasped the top-grade magic crystal in his hand. Then, store it in the first storage compartment. The next second, a familiar prompt appears. Item recording complete. Copying begins. My breath caught in my throat for a moment, because of the space in consciousness. There was originally only one magic crystal. Now, there's one more. 2, 10, 100. Extending indefinitely. At this moment, I finally knew. One of the biggest limitations on the path of cultivation in the future. Resource. I've completely solved it. That night, I sat in my room for a long time. The candle on the table was half burned. But I wasn't sleepy at all, because my life truly changed from this moment on. In the past, I needed to consider resources. Consider how many magic crystals you'll need for future cultivation. Consider whether you have enough materials to inscribe the runes. But now, these problems are no longer obstacles. The unlimited storage space didn't give me the power to become a strong person overnight. It is a path that allows for continuous growth. I did not immediately produce a large number of magic crystals. The reason is simple. A common man is innocent, but possessing a treasure is a crime. There are powerful superhumans in this world. If a 12-year-old child suddenly possesses an inexhaustible supply of top-grade magic crystals, any intelligent person would notice something amiss. Therefore, I must keep this secret. At least until they have the power to protect themselves. The next morning, Zoran came to my room as usual. Young master, the notice from the Imperial Academy has arrived. He placed a silver letter on the table. I opened it to take a look. It says on it, "The Lord Wizard Academy of the Atlantis Empire invites Wen Yen to enroll." Seeing this name, I wasn't too surprised. After awakening two top-tier talents, the Imperial Academy will definitely take notice of me. The Lord Wizard Academy is one of the highest institutions of learning in the entire empire for cultivating Lord-level talents. There, it possesses the most complete wizarding knowledge in the empire. They have the best mentors. There are geniuses from various noble families. More importantly, everything I need is there. Resource, knowledge, connections, future followers. Zoran looked at me. Young master, are you really determined to go to the capital? I nodded. That place was more suitable for me to grow up in. He remained silent for a while. The capital is far away. That place doesn't resemble Scarlet Moon City. After you go there, there will be no familiar faces around you. I looked at him. Uncle Zoran, if I stay here, the Wen family will always be just a thing of the past. I have to get out of here. Zoran lowered his head. After a long while, he smiled. Young master, you're becoming more and more like the master. He once said that true strength lies in not waiting for opportunities to come to you. They will proactively venture into a larger world. Hearing this, my heart stirred slightly. In my past life, I was just an ordinary person. In this life, I have the opportunity to choose my life anew. I won't waste it. The next few days, I began preparing to travel to the capital. At the same time, I also need to deal with Zoran's problem, because after entering the Imperial Academy, I can no longer have Zoran following me around. It's not because of distrust. It's because of my secret. Unlimited storage space is my biggest trump card. No risks can be allowed to occur. When I found Zoran, he was tidying up old things in the house. Uncle Zoran. He stopped what he was doing. Young master? I took out a contract. This is a partial transfer of the Wen family's assets. This house is yours from now on. Zoran was stunned. Young master, I can't accept it. I shook my head. You deserve it. Without you all these years, I might not even be standing here now. Zoran looked at the contract but didn't accept it immediately. Then what will happen to the young master in the future? The capital is in danger. No one is there to take care of you. I laughed. Uncle Zoran, I'm no longer the little kid who needs you to remind me to eat every day. I'm going to walk my own path. Upon hearing this, his eyes were slightly red, but in the end, he nodded. Good. If the master and mistress knew, they would be very pleased. The day before I left, I met up with a few kids I knew from my childhood. They are also war orphans. The oldest among them is called Saiko. He is 2 years older than me. When we were kids, he often led us children to hide from the bullying of the aristocratic boys in the city. Although he did not awaken a powerful talent, but he has a resolute character. Wen Yen, Isekai patted me on the shoulder. Don't forget us after you go to the capital. I laughed and said, rest assured. If I really reach a high position in the future, you are the first people to follow me. Seik laughed heartily. You're only 12 years old. But you talk like a big shot. I did not explain, because I know, someday in the future, this statement will definitely come true. On the day of departure, Marquis Scarlet Moon, Hetherin, personally sent someone to escort me to the floating port. She did not show up. But the person who saw them off brought a message. Wenyan, the capital city is the end. That's just the beginning of your real competition. I remembered that sentence. Upon arriving at the floating port, this was the first time I had ever seen the Empire's large transport vehicles, rose-shaped airship. The enormous metal hull floated in the sky. It was covered with spatial runes. It is powered by magic crystal energy. It can travel thousands of miles. After boarding the airship, I stood at the edge of the deck, looking down at the increasingly smaller Crimson Moon City. This is where I grew up. It's also a place where my parents left their mark. But my future, in a more distant place. The airship is activated. Spatial runes lit up. A tremendous driving force was transmitted. The entire ship slowly rose into the air. Just as they left the territory of Scarlet Moon, a voice suddenly rang out from behind. You are Wenyan? I turned around. I saw a middle-aged man wearing silver knight armor standing there. He exuded a powerful aura. A young girl was also with her. The girl had long golden hair. He wore a knight's sword at his waist. The man looked at me and smiled. I am Dilling, 7th tier Holy Dragon Knight. My heart skipped a beat. 7th rank. This is a great figure capable of governing a region. Dilling continued. I've heard about your awakening. Double top tier talents. Very rare. I remained polite. Greetings, Lord Dilling. Dilling looked at the empty seat next to me. He then said, My daughter Dyrola wants to become your follower. The girl next to him lowered her head slightly. Your Excellency Wenyan, please allow me to follow in your footsteps in the future. I looked at the father and daughter in front of me. I realized it for the first time. From the moment we left the Scarlet Moon territory, my life trajectory has entered another level. The future team. It's appearing little by little. I did not immediately agree to Dyrola's request. It's not because I'm dissatisfied. On the contrary, the fact that Dylan's daughter, a 7th tier Holy Dragon Knight, offered to follow him was an opportunity that would be hard to refuse for any young person who had just awakened their talent. But I know very well, following a relationship is not determined by a single sentence, especially in this world. There exists a long-term contract between the Lord Wizard and his followers. Once signed, it signifies that both parties will share both glory and risk in the future. I looked at Dyrola. She is about my age. Her long golden hair was tied back, and she wore a simple knight training uniform. She lacked the arrogance a noblewoman would show when facing a strange genius. On the contrary, they were very serious. Why would you want to become my follower? I asked. Dyrola clearly didn't expect me to ask that question. She remained silent for a moment. Because your father believes you will become a strong person in the future. That's one reason. Another reason is that I want to forge my own path. She gripped the knight's sword at her waist. I am the daughter of the Holy Dragon Knight. From the moment I was born, everyone told me that I would definitely become an excellent knight in the future. But I don't want to be recognized just because of my bloodline. I want to prove my choice. I looked at her. This sentence gave me a new understanding of her. Many people only see her identity. The daughter of the Holy Dragon Knight, noble bloodline, future resources. But what she truly wanted was growth. Only people like this are qualified to be true partners. I nodded. I accept your request. Dyrola visibly breathed a sigh of relief. Thanks you? Dilling stood to the side, watching the scene. And a satisfied smile appeared on his face. Wenyan, you are more mature than I imagined. I shook my head. I just don't want to decide other people's futures arbitrarily. Dilling smiled. This is also the most important quality of a Lord Wizard. There are many people who possess power. There are very few people who can inspire others to follow them. Then he took out a box. After opening, inside was a plant that emitted a faint red glow. This is a gift for you. Dragon blood ginseng elf breeding stock. My gaze sharpened. Elf. This is one of the key areas I've focused on since arriving in Beijing. The continent of Atlantis has 3 core racial systems. Human race. Elf race. Dragons? Elves possess powerful life-giving abilities. They can help the Lord Wizard manage the territory, cultivate grains, cultivating medicinal herbs, purify the environment. They even study special plants for establishing a territory in the future. Elves are just as important as an army. I took the box. Thank you, Your Excellency Dilling. Dilling waved his hand. This is an investment. If you become a true lord in the future, I hope you will remember today. I nodded. I will remember. The airship continued its flight towards the capital. I didn't waste any time on the road. I study the college's materials every day. The Imperial Capital Lord's Wizard Academy boasts a rigorous training system. Students must complete basic courses during their first 3 years. Include rune theory, element control, contractual knowledge, territory management, magic array, night system. These courses seem disorganized. In reality, it's all about cultivating future lords. Because of the biggest difference between a lord wizard and an ordinary wizard, it's not about combat ability. Rather, it's management ability. Ordinary wizards can study magic on their own, but a lord wizard needs to create a power of his own. This is why the Empire places the lord wizards in the highest regard. They are the core of future territorial expansion. During flight, I also met students from other regions for the first time. There was a young orc from the northern ice plains. There are human nobles from the elven border. There are also young heirs from business families. They will all be competing at Imperial Capital Academy. Here, no one will give you special treatment because of your past status. Only strength can prove everything. 3 days later, the airship arrived at the capital of Atlantis. Standing on the edge of the ship, this was the first time I had seen the heart of this empire. Countless powerful individuals have gathered here. The towering tower pierces the clouds. A magic circle covered the city. Knights ride flying magical beasts to patrol the sky. Merchants of various races come and go on the streets. The prosperity here far surpasses that of Scarlet Moon City, but I didn't get addicted to it, because I know, the more prosperous the place, the fiercer the competition. When completing enrollment procedures, the tutor in charge of registration paused for a moment after seeing my information. Wen Yen, double-topped her talents, recommended by Scarlet Moon Territory. He looked up and glanced at me. Your dormitory area has been arranged. Area 7, Villa number 66. I was a little surprised. Freshmen typically live in communal areas. A detached villa signifies a higher level of education from the academy. The tutor explained. The Empire will allocate certain resources to top talents. But, the more resources you have, the greater the competition. I hope you understand. I nodded. Clear. After entering Area 7, I saw my residence. A detached building with a courtyard. The area is not exaggerated, but for newly enrolled students, this is already an extremely high level of treatment. Dairola stood to the side. Your Excellency Wen Yen, from now on, this will be your training ground. I looked out over the courtyard. I've already started planning for the future. This is more than just a place to live. That's also where I built my foundation. Infinite magic crystals, top-tier talent, future followers, elf breeding, Dragon Knight Legion. All plans will begin here. That evening, I entered the room. Take out an ordinary magic crystal. Place it in the storage space. Then they began to try to mobilize its power. The infinitely replicated magic crystals are no different. Each one possesses complete energy. I'm finally sure. One of the biggest limitations to future cultivation. It has disappeared. Next, there is only one thing I need to do, to elevate one's realm. Because only truly powerful strength can achieve this. Only then can you protect everything you have. Only then can I establish my own territory. On my first day at the Lord Wizard Academy, I realized something. This place is completely different from Scarlet Moon City. In the Crimson Moon Territory, my 2 top-tier talents are enough to cause a sensation. But when we arrived in the capital, genius is just a prerequisite. Those who truly stand at the top must prove their abilities. Early morning, the college bell rang. I put on my new novice robes and headed to the main teaching area. Dairola followed behind. Although she is a knight, she will become my follower in the future. So she also needs to understand the Lord Wizard system. Wen Yen, which direction are you planning to choose? On the way? She asked. I did not hesitate. The omnipotent Lord Wizard. Diora paused for a moment. All-powerful? Are you sure? Her reaction was normal. Because in the history of the Empire, the path of the omnipotent wizard has always been the most difficult. The wizarding system is divided into several branches. Elemental wizard, spiritual wizard, alchemist, nature wizard, space wizard, array wizard. Each direction requires a significant amount of time for research. Ordinary people have limited energy. Specializing in one area is the key to rapid growth. An all-around wizard needs to master multiple fields simultaneously. Learning speed is slow. It consumes a lot of resources. It's easier to encounter bottlenecks later on. Because a wizard needs to expand his mental sea to break through his realm. The stronger one's mental sea, the more runes it can hold. However, there are limits to the human capacity for mental exertion. Many all-powerful wizards stagnate at higher levels because their minds cannot hold more knowledge. This is why, over the past 1,000 years, there have been very few truly top-tier all-around wizards. But my situation is different. The unlimited storage space gave me unlimited resources. My exceptional mental talent allows me to grow mentally at a rate far exceeding that of ordinary people. What I lack has never been resources. Therefore, I chose a path that no one else can replicate. It integrates offense and defense, all-round development, to become a true Lord-level wizard in the future. The first lesson was on basic theory. The mentor was a middle-aged wizard. He stood on the podium, looking at the new students below. Welcome to the Lord Wizard Academy. You may become marquises of the Empire in the future. He could become a local lord. It's also possible to become an ordinary research wizard. But whichever path you choose, you need to remember one thing. Strength must be built on a foundation. He then began to explain the wizarding ranks: apprenticeship stage, formal wizard stage, elite wizard stage, high-level wizard stage, saintly wizard stage, true spirit wizard stage. With each advancement to a higher realm, one's level of life changes. After reaching the 7th level of true spirit wizard, lifespan will exceed limits, to achieve true immortality. Upon hearing this, my goal became even more certain: eternal life. It is not obtained through fantasy. Instead, they achieved it through their own efforts. After the course ended, I did not participate in the exchange with other students. Instead, they went directly to the college library. This place holds thousands of years of knowledge from the entire empire. I need to understand this world as soon as possible. 3 days. I hardly left the library. A flood of information entered my mind. The continent of myriad races has 3 main regions: the human continent, elf continent, dragon continent. The 3 parties are not entirely hostile, but true peace does not exist. Resource, territory, inheritance. It will always be the core of the competition among all parties. The human empire was able to become one of the 3 major powers. The biggest reason? It's the Lord Wizard system. A powerful Lord Wizard can establish a city, to train an army, develop resources. It could even create new areas of civilization. This is why the Empire places such importance on academies. Because every powerful future lord could potentially alter the course of a nation's destiny. Day 4. I began my formal cultivation practice. My primary goal: break through the apprentice level. Wizards need to connect with the elements through mental power to cultivate their skills, then construct the basic runes. It takes an average student several months or even a year to complete their first rune. But my situation is completely different. His mental talent reached the highest level. In addition, there is the energy provided by the infinite magic crystals. There are almost no bottlenecks in cultivation speed. I took out a magic crystal, place it in the cultivation array. A large amount of pure energy enters the body. The mental energy began to inscribe the first metal-type rune. Fail. Try again. Fail. Keep trying. For ordinary wizards, failure means consuming a lot of time and resources. But for me, failure is simply starting over, because the number of magic crystals is unlimited. 1 day later, the first basic gold rune has been successfully completed. A golden rune appeared in my mental sea. The next moment, a change occurred throughout my body. Breakthrough in realm. Junior wizard apprentice. I clenched my fist. I feel the growing power within my body. At the same time, the storage space in my mind has undergone new changes. The realm of life is elevated. The conditions for opening the second storage compartment have been met. Activate? I didn't hesitate at all. Activate. The second space appears. This means my plan can begin earlier. The first slot stores magic crystals. Second section. I need to choose something more important. Take a moment to think. I decided to store up my spiritual energy, because in the future, regardless of the inscription of runes, let's use a magic circle instead. They all require enormous amounts of energy to support them. After the second storage compartment is successfully bound, I started trying. A wisp of magical power entered the space within his body. The next second, unlimited copying begins. I felt as if my spiritual sea had connected to an endless source of energy. From then on, my mana regeneration speed, it will surpass all wizards of the same rank. But I didn't relax because of that. Because I know, the real competition has only just begun. At the college, there are also countless geniuses. Future. There are also saint-level experts. There is even a legendary 9th-level realm. My goal. It's never about becoming an ordinary strong person. I will go to the ends of the earth. Take a look at the ninth order omniscient wizard. What secret is hidden? After breaking through to the level of a junior wizard apprentice, I didn't rush to show off my strength. There are too many geniuses in the academy. If a freshman completes in a short period of time what others take months or even a year to achieve, it can easily attract unnecessary attention. My goal is not to become someone who shines for a short time. Instead, it's about becoming someone who can control the future. In the time that followed, I began to cultivate according to my own plan. This morning I studied rune theory. In the afternoon, I studied magic arrays. I entered the training room at night to absorb magical energy. For other freshmen, the biggest challenge is resources. The college provides limited basic resources. To obtain more cultivation materials, you need to complete tasks and earn contribution points. Contribution points are the most important trading method within the Lord Wizard Academy. Advanced knowledge, precious materials, special magic array, even powerful magical equipment, both require contribution points to redeem. Many freshmen spend a lot of time completing tasks after entering the college, because they need resources. But I don't have this problem. The infinite magic crystals provided a continuous source of energy. This allows me to devote all my time to studying and self-cultivation. 1 month later, I have mastered the basic runes of the gold element. At the same time, I began learning the second type of defensive runes. My choice is clear. Both offense and defense are developed simultaneously. The gold element's talent lies in attack. Mental talent excels at control. In addition, the future Lord system will require the protection of their own territories. Simply pursuing attacks is not in line with my approach. I want to become an all-powerful wizard who can face any situation independently. This day, the college conducted its first aptitude test for new students. All the new students gathered at the training ground. The instructor in charge of the test looked at the list. Wen Yen, test your basic combat skills. I walked into the testing area. Many students around looked over. Since enrolling, I have kept a low profile. Many people only know that I am one of the top geniuses in the Crimson Moon territory. But they don't know my true strength. The test content is very simple. Release the attack rune, defensive runes, movement rune. 3 projects. The first item, gold type attack runes. I raised my hand. A golden blade of light instantly formed. Boom! A deep crack appeared on the test pillar ahead. The instructor in charge of taking notes glanced at it. Good. Precise mind control. The second item, defensive runes. A golden shield appears. Test the impact released by the stone pillar. The shield remained stable and did not break. The third item, movement rune. A wind elemental support array appeared around his body. My speed increased instantly. The whole process was incredibly smooth. Test complete. The tutor looked at the notes. Excellent basic skills. Your mental control is much stronger than that of students at the same stage. I just nodded. There was no explanation. Top-tier mental talent. It made my learning ability far exceed that of ordinary people, and the unlimited spiritual power allows me to practice continuously. When someone fails once, they need to wait for their magic to recover. I can keep going even if I fail 10 times or 100 times. That's the difference. After the test, a black-haired boy walked up to me. You are Wen Yen? I looked at him. I am. The boy reached out his hand. My name is Chuan Yen, new students of the Elemental Academy. I was a little surprised. Although both the Elemental Academy and the Lord Wizard Academy belong to the Imperial Academy system, their training focuses are different. The Academy of Elements focuses more on elemental research. Most of the people who can study there possess special elemental talents. Chuan Yen looked at me. Your control over the gold element is quite unique. Ordinary gold element cultivators tend to be more offensive. Your rune structure is more stable. I smiled. I just practiced a bit more. Chuan Yen shook his head. I don't believe it's just practice. However, everyone has their own secrets. I respect that. His attitude made me feel somewhat favorably towards him. Truly outstanding people rarely try to pry into other people's secrets. We talked for a long time. I learned a lot about elemental plants from him. It turns out that there is a specialization within the Elemental Academy. Research on natural elements. They specialize in cultivating magical plants with unique abilities. These plants can serve as an important medium for the birth of elves. Upon hearing this, my interest was immediately piqued. Elf. It is an important part of my future territory plan. Food, medicinal herbs, environmental improvement. These all require the assistance of spirits. Chuanyan noticed my interest. You're interested in magical plants? I nodded. The Lord Wizard will need to establish a territory in the future. Resource development is very important. Chuanyan smiled. It seems you are different from other nobles. Many people enter the academy only thinking about increasing their power. You've already started thinking about future territories. I did not deny it. Because that's exactly what I'm aiming for. Become a strong person. This is just the first step. Build your own world. That is the ultimate direction. That evening, after returning to the villa, I started organizing my plans. At present, I possess top-tier mental talent, top-tier gold element talent, advanced physical talent, infinite magic crystals, infinite spiritual power. But that's not enough. I want to become a true lord in the future. You must have 3 things. First, stable source of resources. Second, loyal followers. Third, a powerful army. In terms of resources, the elf is key. In the military sphere, dragons and knights are key. Regarding followers, it takes time to cultivate. I opened the college's redemption catalog. It contains a large number of items. One of them caught my attention. Miracle Cultivation Array. This magic circle can help magical plants grow and increase the probability of giving birth to spirits. The price is very expensive. Ordinary students simply cannot afford to buy them. But for me, contribution points are not a problem. As long as the materials are available, I can accumulate resources through infinite replication. Just now, my level is still too low. Many things are not working. Therefore, the first stage, it's still about improving our strength. Late at night, 1 month later, I entered a meditative state again. The number of runes in my spiritual sea is increasing. The magical power within his body continued to grow, close to becoming a formal wizard. It's getting closer and closer. What I didn't know was, in the capital city, more and more people are starting to pay attention to this boy from the Scarlet Moon territory. 2 top-tier talents. War orphans. The Marquis personally took charge. These labels. It's gradually bringing my name into the sight of more people. The road that belongs to Wen Yen. It is slowly unfolding. After entering the academy for 2 months, I began to truly feel the competitive pressure in the capital city. The geniuses here are on a completely different level from those in Scarlet Moon City. In the Crimson Moon territory, having 2 top-tier talents is enough to shock everyone. But at Imperial Capital Academy, there are quite a few people with advanced talents. They have a noble family lineage that has been passed down for hundreds of years. There is a young genius from the Border Legion. There are also individuals with special abilities from other academies. Everyone has their own strengths. To reach the top, talent alone is far from enough. I know this better than anyone else. So my life became more regular. Study every day, cultivation, research, occasionally participate in college activities. I didn't deliberately try to befriend everyone, because true relationships aren't about knowing as many people as possible. It's about how many people are willing to stand by your side in crucial moments. This day, the Lord Wizard Academy is holding open classes. The content is a contract magic circle. The instructor was an old wizard. He unfolded a complex magic circle on the podium. The future establishment of power by Lord Wizards is inseparable from contracts. But contracts are not simply about control. A truly excellent lord will inspire his followers to willingly embrace his path. I remembered that sentence for a long time. I saw many stories in my past life. Many people, after gaining power, only think about making others submit. But truly powerful leaders need to show others the future. That's why when I accepted Dairola as a follower, I didn't directly ask her to make any sacrifices. Instead, they asked her what she thought. After the course ended, I am organizing materials at the library. A voice came from the side. You are Wen Yen? I looked up. I saw a girl standing there. She was wearing the Knight Academy's training uniform. Short black hair. Sharp eyes. A sword is worn at the waist. I am Sophia. First year at Knight Academy. I nodded. Hello? Sophia looked at me. I heard you are the most special freshman in this year's graduating class of the Lord Wizard Academy. Possesses top-tier talents in both spirit and metal element. I want to see if you only have talent. Her words were very direct. I'm not angry. On the contrary. I found it interesting. How can you prove it? Sophia drew her training sword. Training ground. Half an hour later. The Academy's training ground. Many students gathered around. They soon found out what had happened. Isn't that Sophia? The number 1 freshman at Knight Academy. She actually challenged Wen Yen? In the center of the training field, Sophia holds the sword. I will not use real battle aura. It's just a test of basic combat awareness. I nodded. Let's begin. The next moment, she rushed over. It's very fast. The knight's greatest advantage lies in his close-quarters combat ability. Her movements were all precise and efficient. Every step has been trained. If it were an ordinary wizard apprentice, once she got close, they would have virtually no chance to fight back. But I am not an ordinary wizard. Mental power unfolds. Everything around us seemed to slow down. Her movements were clearly visible to me. Golden runes appeared instantly. A metal barrier blocked our way. Clang! The sword's edge struck the shield. Sophia took a step back. Her eyes changed. You predicted my attack direction in advance? I did not answer. One should not easily reveal matters of spiritual talent. I simply said, your attack was very direct. But when facing a wizard, we need to consider more variations. Sophia paused for a moment. He then sheathed his sword. I lost. The surrounding students were somewhat surprised. Many people believed that once the wizard was brought close by the knight, the outcome was already decided, but this battle proved it. A truly excellent wizard will not easily let the enemy get close. Sophia looked at me. We'll have another match if we have the chance in the future. I want to see what you're like when you're actually fighting. I laughed. From this day forward, I have another person I know. Chuan Yen, Sophia, Dirola. These geniuses from different directions began to gradually appear on my path to the future, and I began to prepare for the next step of my plan. Miracle Cultivation Array. College Exchange Hall. This is one of the most bustling areas of Imperial Capital Academy. Various resources are sold here, from common magical materials to the higher levels of inheritance. There are even special items from the Elf continent. I arrived at the exchange hall. The teacher in charge of receiving me became noticeably more serious after seeing my identity. Wen Yen, classmate, what do you need to exchange? I opened the directory. They quickly found their target. Miracle Cultivation Array. The full version requires a large number of contribution points. Most students would give up when they see the price. But I did not hesitate. Because I know its value. Future territory development. The spirit system is the core. There are elves, food, medicinal herbs, resource production. They will all form a stable cycle. I pay contribution points. I obtained a magic array jade disc. After returning to the villa, I started researching. The Miracle Cultivation Array is more complex than I imagined. It does not simply promote plant growth. Instead, it guides plants to undergo a life transformation through natural elements. Ultimately, this gave birth to intelligent spirits. According to the records, for an ordinary wizard to raise an elf, it would take several years or even more than a decade. Moreover, the success rate is extremely low. But my advantage lies in, I possess an infinite number of magic crystals, possesses unlimited spiritual power, possesses top-tier mind control. Night. I set up the first nurturing array in the courtyard. Runes lit up one by one. Magic energy began to gather around them. I placed the magic plant seeds I had prepared in advance into the central area. Watching the magic circle operate, I've already started planning for the future. This place will not just be a residence in the future, and it will become my first resource base. Elf breeding garden, Dragon Knight Legion, follower system, territory building, everything starts here. And just as I began cultivating my first batch of magical plants. In another tower of the academy, an elderly man put down the documents he was holding. My name is written on it. Wen Yen. Awakened 2 top-tier talents at the age of 12. Master multiple basic runes in a short time. Now they've started researching Pokemon breeding. A hint of interest appeared in the old man's eyes. This child. The path I want to take is farther than that of an ordinary Lord Wizard. In the first month after the Miracle Nurturing Array was activated, I spent almost all my free time in the courtyard. For the other students in the college, the villa was just a place to rest. But for me, this is the starting point of the future territory. I observe the changes in the magical plants every day, record the element concentration, adjust the runes of the magic circle, to find the most suitable environment for elves to be born. This process is not easy. Although the Miracle Cultivation Array is powerful, it doesn't mean that simply placing a plant inside will immediately produce a spirit. It requires a stable supply of natural energy. It requires a suitable plant lineage. It also requires the operator to have sufficient mental strength. If it were an ordinary student, they would probably have given up long ago due to the depletion of their magic power. but I possess unlimited spiritual power. The biggest advantage is that you can keep trying. Fail. Adjustment. Try again. 1 month later, the first batch of magical plants finally began to change. In the center of the courtyard, a dragon blood vine began to emit a faint red glow. I stood to the side, my mental energy covering the entire area. A life fluctuation has occurred. It is not the growth of ordinary plants. Rather, a new life is being conceived. 3 days later, early morning, the first crisp sound came from the vines. Where is this place? I opened my eyes. I saw a red light emanating from the center of the plant. The light gradually coalesced. She eventually turned into a little girl only the size of a palm. She has light red hair. Semi-transparent wings appeared behind him. She looked around curiously. Who are you? I squatted down. I am the master of this place. And you? The little elf tilted its head. I have no idea. I just woke up. I checked the breeding records. Dragon blood ginseng spirit. The life attribute leans towards recovery. It possesses the capability to cultivate auxiliary pharmaceutical agents. I named her Nia. The elf's eyes lit up. Is this my name? I nodded. From now on, you will be Nia. She nodded happily. I like this moment. I am now truly certain of my plan. The elf system was a success, but the appearance of the first spirit is just the beginning. The 100 magical plants in the courtyard continue to grow. Future. More elves will be born here. They will become the most important resource managers in my territory. That evening, Dairola arrived at the villa. She looked at the changes in the courtyard, clearly shocked. Wen Yen, you really succeeded in breeding a Pokemon? I nodded. Nia nestled against my shoulder, watching Dairola with curiosity. Dairola cautiously reached out her hand. Hello? Nia glanced at her. Then it gently flew to her hand. You have the aura of a dragon. Dairola was taken aback. You can feel it? Nia nodded. It's very warm. Seeing this scene, a new idea came to my mind. There may be more connections between elves and dragons. If a Dragon Knight Legion is established in the future, elves can also provide important assistance. Just then, news came from the college. The Dragon Knight family, led by Dylan, prepared to make a formal visit. The next day, Dylan brought her family to my villa. Except for Dairola, there are also 3 young knights. Wen Yen, Dylan explained. These are my 3 sons, Ender, Wig, Nato. The 3 men bowed to me in turn. Ender was a calm and composed person. Wig was tall and had a strong presence. Nato is younger, but his eyes are determined. Dylan said, all 3 of them hope to become your knights in the future. I looked at the 3 of them. Why? Ender spoke first. Because your father believes that you will establish your own territory in the future. But I choose to follow because I want to be a part of that future. Wig smiled. I've heard my father say since I was a child that a truly powerful lord will make knights willing to follow him. Nato didn't say much. He simply said seriously, I want to become stronger. I didn't agree immediately. Instead, they inquired about their current strength. Ender has reached the level of a beginner-level gold knight. Wig and Nadal are also close to a breakthrough. This made my judgment clearer. The Dilling family, they certainly have the potential to become a core team of knights. But more followers are not necessarily better. Quantity is meaningless. Loyalty and competence are what truly matter. Final. I have decided to accept their request to follow me in the future. However, no contract was signed immediately, because the contract requires formal confirmation from both parties, and they still need to prove their choice. Dilling had no objection to this. On the contrary, they were even more satisfied. Wen Yen, you are more cautious than I thought. That's good, Knight. I reorganized my plans. Now, my foundation has begun to take shape. In terms of resources, infinite magic crystals, elf breeding. Regarding personnel, Dairola. In the future, there will be Ander, Wig, and Nato. In terms of combat, the Dragon Knight route has been introduced, but it's far from being truly formed. There is still a long way to go. Next step. What I need to do is elevate my own level of understanding, because only when you have enough strength, only then can it support larger plans. The formal wizard realm. It's almost here, and so I began to prepare. To create your own first large-scale battle formation. A formation of 100 blades. This is one of the most powerful attack systems for the Lord Wizard in the early stages. Once you master it, my combat abilities will truly surpass those of wizards of the same rank. Reaching the formal wizarding realm is the most important hurdle for all wizarding apprentices. Many people remain in the apprenticeship stage for several years, or even more than a decade. The reason is simple. An apprenticeship is simply a process of learning and accumulating experience. Only formal wizards can be considered to have truly embarked on the path of the extraordinary. To become a formal wizard, one needs to expand their mental sea and successfully construct their first complete magic array. This step tests more than just talent. There's also mental control, rune understanding, magic reserves. Failure can occur if any part of the process goes wrong. I have been preparing for this for a long time. During this period, I did not rush to make a breakthrough. I'm improving my fundamentals every day. Gold-type runes, defense array, mind control, magic cycle. I went through all the details, because my goal is not simply to become a formal wizard. Instead, they chose to take a path that went further than others. Breakthrough on the same day. I deactivated the courtyard magic circle. He entered the training room alone. A large number of magic crystals were placed on the table. These magic crystals came from my storage space. The quantity is unknown to outsiders. We also cannot know why they never decrease. I sat down cross-legged. The spiritual energy slowly entered the sea of the mind. There are already a large number of basic runes there. Golden runes are arranged within, like stars. I began to sketch the first large array, a formation of 100 blades. As the name suggests, once activated, it can simultaneously condense hundreds of sharp blades of gold element. It has a wide attack range. It has strong explosive power. It is very suitable for the early battles of the Lord Wizard. Ordinary wizards need to practice repeatedly to create this kind of array, because any error in any rune will cause the entire array to collapse. But my advantage is that I have unlimited opportunities to practice. Fail, restart, mental exhaustion, recover, continue. I don't know how much time has passed. The final rune is complete. Boom! The entire sea of consciousness trembled. The 100 blades array has officially taken shape. The next moment, I felt a breakthrough in my body. The mental energy began to transform. The speed of magic flow has been greatly increased. The formal wizard realm. Breakthrough achieved. I opened my eyes. I feel a new power within my body. It's much more powerful than the apprenticeship stage. Not only is the magic more solid, the range of mental perception has also expanded several times. At the same time, the storage space sent another notification. A rise in the level of life. New storage compartment unlocked. I looked at the newly added space. A new plan has formed in my mind. The purpose of the first 2 storage compartments has already been determined. A storage crystal. A storage for spiritual energy. The third storage compartment. What am I going to use it to store? Take a moment to think. I chose magical materials. To establish territory in the future, it requires a lot of resources. High-grade ore, rune materials, alchemy materials. These things require long-term accumulation. After confirmation, the third storage compartment is now operational. My trump card has been expanded once again. The next day, the Academy announced the official results of the wizard examination. Many students looked shocked when they saw the list. When Yen has broken through to become a formal wizard? So fast? How long has he been enrolled? The news spread quickly, but I didn't pay much attention, because I know, becoming a formal wizard is just the beginning. What truly matters is the future. Become a 7th-tier true spirit wizard, to gain eternal life. Establish your own territory. These are my goals. After the breakthrough, I continued to improve the Pokemon breeding park. The number of magical plants in the courtyard is increasing. The first batch of plants has entered a stable phase. Nia helps me record the changes every day. She was born not long ago, but elves are born with the ability to sense nature. He observes many plant-related issues more accurately than the average wizard. One evening, Nia flew to my shoulder. This moonflower is almost mature. I went over to check. Really, the internal life fluctuations of the plant have been significantly enhanced. I smiled. It seems your abilities are well suited to managing this place. Nia happily spun around. I like it here. There are many friends here. Looking at her appearance, I am even more certain about the direction I will take in the future. Territory is not cold, hard land. A truly powerful lord needs to establish a complete system. It is managed by someone. Someone is producing it. There is fighting. Some people have studied this. Each member has their own value. A few days later, the college held an exchange activity for new students. Outstanding students from all 3 colleges will participate. Lord Wizard Academy, Elemental Academy, Knight Academy. This was the first formal exchange between the young geniuses. When I arrived at the event venue, I've already seen quite a few familiar faces. Chuan Yen stood in the crowd. They came over after seeing me. Wen Yen, I heard you've broken through to become a formal wizard. I nodded. Just broke through. Chuan Yen laughed. Your cultivation speed is really fast. But I think your real strength isn't just your speed. You see things differently from ordinary students. I did not answer. Because he was right. My strength has never been a single force. Rather, it comes from past life experiences. I know that a person's growth cannot be judged solely by what is in front of them. We must consider the future. At this moment, a clear, cold voice rang out. Wen Yen. I turned my head. Seeing Sophia approaching, she looked at me. Next training session. I won't lose. I laughed. I'm looking forward to it. Just as the exchange activity began, a commotion suddenly arose in the distance. Several young nobles entered the venue. One of them looked at me. His eyes held a scrutinizing gaze. You're Wen Yen from the Scarlet Moon territory? I nodded. Yes. A smile crept onto his lips. I heard that you are favored by the Marquis. I don't know if my abilities really match it. The surrounding students gradually quieted down. Everyone realized it. A new competition has begun. Imperial Capital Academy. There is never a shortage of geniuses. And among geniuses, collisions will always occur. I looked at the other person. There was no anger. They did not back down. Because from the day I entered the capital, I knew it. They want to reach a higher position. We must face all challenges. The atmosphere at the exchange event gradually quieted down after the appearance of the noble boy. His name is Karen. They come from a wizarding family with a long history in the capital. Many people in the college know him. The reason is simple. Karen also possesses top-tier talent. Although he can't compare to my dual top-tier talents, his mental and fire elemental talents have also reached a high level. More importantly, he received the most comprehensive aristocratic education from a young age. Runes, etiquette, fighting, territory management. He has been learning these things since birth. Therefore, many people believe that he is the one who truly meets the standards of a Lord Wizard. Karen looked at me. Wen Yen. Your talent is indeed very strong, but for a Lord Wizard, it's not just about the result of awakening. I looked at him calmly. What are you trying to say? Karen smiled. I just wanted to confirm. Does the person Marquis Scarlet Moon has taken a liking to actually have any real ability? The surrounding students started talking about it. Some people think Karen is taking a challenge. Some people think this is normal competition. That's how Imperial Capital Academy is. No one will respect you permanently because of your past. Only by constantly proving oneself. Only then can one gain recognition. I did not refuse. How do we confirm this? Karen points to the training area. Simple. Let's have a friendly spar. The tutor standing nearby did not stop them. Because the college allows students to communicate normally with each other. As long as you control your strength, you won't cause any harm. Such competition can actually promote growth. The training ground is now open. Karen and I stood on either side. He raised his hand. Fire elements rapidly gathered. The intense heat spread outwards. The surrounding students all backed away. Flame burst array. Someone recognized his abilities. This is a common attack method used by high-level fire elemental wizards. It has a strong burst of power. It has a wide coverage area. Karen did not probe. Unleash the full attack right from the start. A massive fire rune formed in the air. Boom! The flames surged in like a tidal wave. I stood still. Mental power unfolds. Everything around me became clear. Direction of flame flow. Rune structure. Energy core. I captured them all. The next moment, golden runes appeared. A massive metal barrier appeared in front of them. Boom! Flame impacts the shield. The powerful impact caused cracks to appear in the ground. But the shield remained stable. Karen's eyes changed. Defense array? You're actually cultivating a defensive system at the same time. I did not answer. Instead, he raised his hand. Mental power controls the rearrangement of the gold element. Dozens of golden blades appeared in the air. The 100 blades formation is only a basic combat formation, but through my continuous optimization, its power far exceeds that of an ordinary formal wizard. Seeing this scene, Karen's expression turned serious. He quickly built a second layer of defense. The flames formed a barrier. The next moment, the golden blade fell. Boom! A huge sound erupted from the center of the training field. Flames and golden light intertwined. A few seconds later, Karen's defensive array dissipated. He took a few steps back. It finally stopped. The outcome is already quite clear. The surroundings were quiet for a moment. Then a murmur of discussion arose. When Yen won, his attack and defense are both so strong. No wonder the Academy gave him a detached villa. Karen withdrew her power. He did not show anger. Instead, he looked at me intently. I lost. I nodded. Your control over fire is very strong. If we continue to strengthen our explosive power, we will become even stronger in the future. Karen paused for a moment. He clearly didn't expect me to proactively evaluate his strengths. Then he laughed. It seems the rumors are somewhat inaccurate. They say you're just relying on talent. Now it seems that you do have your own ideas. After this exchange ended, Karen did not become an enemy. Instead, it has become a competitor worth paying attention to. I understand. True powerhouses are not necessarily enemies. Many times, competition can actually drive mutual growth. The exchange activities continued. This day, I met many more outstanding students from different colleges. Some people are skilled in alchemy. Some people are proficient in battle formations. Some people are researching magical plants. These people have the potential to become important talents in the future. And that's what I need to do. It means to detect them in advance. Build your own network of relationships. After the event, Chuan Yen found me. He took out a transparent box. There was a blue plant inside. This is the ice blue awakening grass I recently cultivated. I looked at the plants. What is its purpose? It can improve the speed of mental recovery, Chuan Yen explained. However, it's not ready yet. If we continue to nurture it, its value will be even greater. I observed carefully. The plant's life structure was found to be very unique. If combined with the miracle cultivation array, perhaps a new spirit will be born. I looked at Chuan Yen. If there is an opportunity in the future, would you be willing to research plant cultivation together? Chuan Yen smiled. Certainly. I have always felt that natural systems have even greater potential for future development. After this exchange, my network of contacts began to truly take shape. Dairola, Chuan Yen, Sophia, even Karen. These young geniuses have all begun to come into my view. But I haven't forgotten my goal. Strength, resource, followers, territory. None of them can be missing. After returning to the villa, I continued my research on the miracle cultivation array. The number of magical plants in the courtyard is increasing. The first batch of 100 plants are gradually maturing. According to my calculations, in a while, more elves will be born here. On the other side, the Dragon Egg project must also be prepared in advance. Dragons are one of the most powerful war forces in the world. If only I could have my own Dragon Knight Legion in the future. No matter what kind of enemy you face, I will have enough confidence. I opened the college's redemption catalog. Start searching for dragon eggs. Soon, a special exchange area appeared before us. A giant dragon larva, dragon blood material, dragon contract scroll. These items are extremely expensive. Ordinary students simply cannot afford it. But I looked at the table of contents. I've already made up my mind. Magic crystal. It's time to realize its true value. The road ahead. It's becoming increasingly clear. The elves are in charge of resources. Dragons are in charge of war. The knight is responsible for protection. And me. It will become the core connecting all of this. My third year after entering Imperial Capital Academy was the year I changed the most. During this year, I completed a large number of foundational courses. Rune theory, contract array, element control, territory planning, resource management. These courses are only for ordinary students to pass the college's assessment. But for me, every piece of knowledge is related to the future development of the territory, because I know very well. A true Lord Warrior is not merely a powerful fighter, he is a creator. If in the future I have my own territory, but no stable resource system, there is a lack of management talent. There is no reliable army. Even the strongest individual cannot protect everything. So these 3 years, I've been refining my plan. The elf breeding garden in the courtyard is already taking shape. The initial 100 magical plants have all reached maturity. Nia has also grown from a little elf to someone who can independently manage the breeding center. Every morning, I would see her leading other newly born little elves, flitting among the plants. When Yen, this patch of moonflowers is in very good condition today. Nia flew over with a plant record in her hand. I took the record and checked it. The surface was covered with dense writing about plant changes. These data will form the foundation for the territory's future development. Thanks a lot, I said. Nia shook her head. I like it here. There are many plants here. I have many friends. Seeing how happy she was, I am even more certain now. Elves are not simply resource tools. They are also part of the future territory. To have one's own emotions, one's own value. This is what makes me different from many traditional lords. 3 years. My strength has also changed dramatically. From a novice wizard apprentice who has just entered the academy, up to now, I have reached the peak of a first-tier formal wizard, only one step away from becoming a second-tier elite wizard. My mental sea is more stable than that of wizards of the same level. Numerous runes are arranged within it. Metal-based attack array, defense array, space-assisted array, mind control array. We have already mastered it. The infinite storage space also increases continuously as one's cultivation level rises. Among them are the most important storage compartments. Store separately. Infinite magic crystals, infinite spiritual power, unlimited magical materials, and a wealth of precious resources. These accumulations have allowed my cultivation to completely break free from resource limitations. But I did not slow down because of this. Because I know, true strength is never about being satisfied with the present. This day, the college held a ceremony to mark the end of the 3-year freshman phase. All students who have completed the basic courses are required to participate. The mentor stood on the high platform and made the announcement. Starting today, you will now be finishing your mandatory basic learning phase. In the future, you will be free to choose your research direction, become a battle wizard, researching wizards, or a lord wizard. Applause erupted from the audience. For many students, this marks the beginning of true freedom. But for me, this is just the beginning of the next phase. After the ceremony, Marquis Heatherland himself came to the capital. Her appearance caused a sensation throughout the entire college. After all, a peak 7th-tier expert holds an extremely high status even in the capital. When she found me, I am compiling new territory planning documents. I saw her appear. I stood up and bowed. Your Excellency, Marquis. Heatherland glanced at the documents on the table. Then he laughed. It seems I wasn't mistaken. Many young people, after breaking through to become formal wizards, do one thing as first seeking fame. But you've already started planning your future territory. I said, strength is just the foundation. Without your own system, no matter how strong you are just an individual. Heatherland nodded. Very good. She sat down. However, I have something to remind you of. Don't miss the opportunity to show yourself just because you want to hide your cards. I understand what she means. At Imperial Capital Academy, being too low-key is also not a good thing. If there is not enough influence, attracting top talent will be even more difficult in the future. Heather continued. The rotation of the Southern Territories, which took place 25 years later, still exists. Back then, you must be qualified enough. Otherwise, even if I were willing to help you, I wouldn't be able to change the rules of the Empire. I nodded. This is reality. In a world of the strong, relationships are important, but strength is the most important thing. Before leaving, Heatherland gave me some new information. The document records the potential land allocation for the southern region in the future. Find out in advance. You need to prepare in advance for the place where your future belongs to you. I took the documents. He began to calculate in his mind. If it goes according to plan, future territories need elf production system, dragon resource system, Night Legion system, talent management system. Each step takes time. That evening, I entered the Academy's exchange hall again. This time, my goal is very clear. Dragon eggs. Dragons are a crucial element of the future warfare system. Ordinary students would back down when they saw the price of dragon eggs, because even a regular dragon egg requires a large number of contribution points. High-quality dragon eggs, on the other hand, command astronomical prices. But I looked at the redemption list, without hesitation, because of my storage space. Possessing an unlimited supply of magic crystals, it is one of the most universal resources in the world. I submitted a redemption request. The staff were stunned when they saw the quantity. Wen Yen, classmate, are you sure you want to redeem these? I nodded. Sure. The staff confirmed it again. These resources are extremely valuable. You need to think this through carefully. I laughed. I've been thinking about this for a long time. The next moment, news of the exchange hall spread. A freshman. Exchange for a large amount of dragon resources in one go. The entire college. The name Wen Yen once again caused a stir. And I know the power that truly belongs to me. It is beginning to take shape. The news of the Dragon Egg Exchange quickly spread throughout the Lord Wizard Academy. Many students were surprised to learn that a freshman could access such a large amount of resources at once. Some people were shocked. Some people speculate. Some people have also begun to reevaluate the name Wen Yen, but I didn't care about what others were saying. Exchanging for dragon eggs is just the first step in the plan. What truly matters is how to transform these resources into a force for the future. After returning to the villa, I opened my spatial ring and sorted out all the dragon eggs I had exchanged. One by one, the dragon eggs lay quietly in a special incubator. Each one contains a powerful life force, a giant dragon, one of the most unique races in the world. Adult dragons possess long lifespans and terrifying power. They are born with elemental abilities, possessing a powerful physical body. A fully grown dragon can change the course of a war. This is why dragon knights hold an extremely high position in the empire. However, becoming a dragon knight is not simply about owning a dragon. First, the dragon's approval is required. Secondly, the knight needs to have a sufficiently strong body and will. Finally, both parties need to establish a stable contract. Therefore, many noble families, even if they possess dragon eggs, are unable to raise true dragon knights. But my advantage lies in, I have time, possess resources, have future plans. I will not rush to hatch the dragon eggs. Instead, they first studied the characteristics of each type of dragon. Fire dragons excel at burst damage. Ice dragon excels at control. Thunder dragon possesses extremely high speed. The earth dragon possesses terrifying defense. Different dragons are suited to different combat systems. The future will see the establishment of a Dragon Knight Legion. It cannot be just about quantity. A complete tactical system must be developed. I wrote down all of this information. When Dairola arrived at the villa, she was stunned to see the room full of information about the dragon race. Wen Yen, are you really planning to establish a Dragon Knight Legion? I nodded. To be precise, it is about building an air force that belongs to the future territory. Dairola looked at me. She has been with me for 3 years. She is much more mature than when we first met. She knew that my goal was never to live the life of an ordinary nobleman. You're thinking very far ahead. I laughed. Because time is on my side. If there were no unlimited storage slots, it may take me decades to accumulate this knowledge. But now, I can prepare in advance for things that others will only consider in the future. This is the biggest advantage. A few days later, the Academy held a talent exchange event. Outstanding students from different colleges gathered again. Chuan Yen also brought new research results. Wen Yen, the breeding ideas you gave me before were very useful, he said. I discovered that plants with different elements can be fused together in a special way. I took the documents he handed me. It contains a lot of experimental data. I read it carefully once. If successful, this plant could become an important material for breeding Pokemon in the future. Chuan Yen nodded. That's what I think too. However, it will take a lot of time. I said. Time is not an issue. Chuan Yen looked at me. He laughed. You're always so confident. I did not deny it. Because I do have reasons to be confident. Right there at the exchange meeting, Sophia has also broken through to the Golden Knight stage. She found me. The first sentence is, Wen Yen, can we get serious now? I looked at her. You still remember? Certainly. She held the sword. Since I lost to you last time, I've been studying the wizard's fighting style. The training ground has reopened. This time, Sophia is much stronger than she was 3 years ago. The power of the Golden Knight increased her speed and explosiveness several times over. Unlike their first encounter, she no longer only thought about getting close to the enemy as quickly as possible. Instead, we should learn to make use of our environment, look for opportunities. Facing such an opponent, I did not have an easy time. The golden runes kept changing. Defense, attack, control. The two sides continued to clash. Using my mental advantage, I seized a moment and used a metal-based binding array to restrict her movements. The battle is over. Sophia sheathed her sword. Although we lost, but there was no disappointment on her face. This time, I finally feel close to you. I said, your direction is correct. The true strength of a knight lies not only in his power and the will to fight. Sophia nodded. Next time, I will win back. Watching her leave, I know it very well. Sophia will become an excellent knight in the future, and such people. This is exactly the kind of talent I need. Time continued to pass. After the 3-year college program ends, I started to have more free time. No longer limited by basic courses, My cultivation speed has increased further. At the same time, the first batch of dragon eggs also began to show signs of life. In the incubator, a crack appeared on the surface of a crimson dragon egg. Dirola stood to the side, her eyes filled with excitement. She's about to be born. I looked at the crack. Anticipation also arose in my heart. The future Dragon Knight Legion. From this moment on. Finally, the first step has been taken. Meanwhile, in another part of the capital city, a big shot from the south has also received the latest news about me. She looked at the name on the document. Wen Yen. 2 topped her talents. A formal wizard. The Pokemon has been successfully bred. Begin cultivating the power of the dragon race. The powerful figure remained silent for a long time. Then he said softly, "This young man? The future will likely become the biggest variable in the south." The day the dragon egg hatched, I truly felt the awe of life's birth for the first time. In the incubation room, the surface of the crimson dragon egg is cracking more and more. A powerful aura of fire element emanated from it. Dirola stood beside her, her hands clasped tightly. As a descendant of the Holy Dragon Knight family, she had come into contact with dragons since childhood, but witnessing a baby dragon hatch from its egg still left her deeply moved. Wen Yen, it's coming out soon. I nodded. Mental energy covers the entire training area. Ensure that no problems occur during the incubation process. Click. The final crack appeared. A tiny, crimson dragon hatched from its egg. Its body is not yet as powerful as that of an adult dragon. It even looks a bit clumsy. But the moment those golden eyes opened, a powerful aura emanating from the dragon bloodline naturally spread out. The young dragon looked around. Finally, their gaze fell upon me. I can sense its emotions. Closeness, curious, and instinctive acceptance. The aura whispered, "It approves of you." I reached out my hand. The baby dragon gently touched my palm. That moment, a special spiritual connection was established. Although a formal knight contract has not yet been signed. However, the two sides have already made initial contact. I named it Qi Yao. The young dragon emitted a low growl. It seems they've accepted the name. Dirola watched the scene unfold. His eyes held a complex expression. Many knights never encounter a dragon that is truly right for them in their entire lives. You've gained recognition right from the start of your training. I shook my head. It's not my luck. It's because I prepared a sufficiently good environment in advance. The growth of a dragon requires a large amount of resources. Magic crystal, or elemental materials. These are things that ordinary families can hardly provide for a long time. But my situation is different. Infinite magic crystals solve the most basic problem. In the future, I could even establish a dedicated dragon breeding area. Let them grow from infancy. That's my advantage. Several months later, the second batch of dragon eggs also began to show changes. Young dragons with different attributes were born one after another. There's been a lot of discussion about me in the college. Some people believe that I relied on the support of Marquis Scarlet Moon. Some people think I'm just lucky. But those who truly know me know. Behind every achievement lies a long-term plan. This day, Dylan returned to the capital. His aura was even stronger than it had been 3 years ago. Seeing Dirola, who had grown so much, he showed a gratified expression. Then he looked at me. Wen Yen, you've really started to build your own power. I said, this is just the beginning. Dylan smiled. Many people say they want to build up their influence. But very few people actually take action. He looked at the young dragons in the breeding area. You're on the right track. The Dragon Knight Legion is indeed one of the most important forces for the future Lord. Then, Dylan formally raised a matter. I discussed it with Murora. In the future, our family would like to join your territory. Murora is Dylan's wife. He is also a powerful nature-based wizard. She is skilled in plant cultivation and resource management. Upon hearing this news, I did not agree immediately. Instead, he said seriously, Lord Dylan, my future path will be fraught with danger. If you choose to follow me, it means you may face war. Dylan looked at me. That's exactly why I chose you. A future without risk is not worth pursuing. Dirola, who was standing next to her, also said, Wen Yen, from the moment I decided to become your follower, I have already accepted all of this. I remained silent for a moment. He then nodded. Welcome to the team. This day, my core team has officially expanded. Dirola, Ender, Wig, Nado, and Murora, who will be in charge of resource development in the future. Although the number is still very small, but everyone has the potential to become a core member. I started to reorganize my future plans. Territory development requires 3 core systems. First, resource system. It is overseen by elves and nature wizards. Ensure the supply of food, medicinal herbs, and materials. Second, war system. It was handled by the Dragon Knights and the Night Legion. Protect the security of the territory. Third, management system. A large number of outstanding talents are needed. Build cities, population management, develop the economy. These things cannot be accomplished by one person alone. A powerful lord. It is not the person who has the most power. Rather, it refers to someone who can make various forces revolve around them. College life continues. My abilities are also constantly improving. The formal wizard realm is becoming increasingly stable. The 100 Blades array has been optimized multiple times, resulting in increased power. Research into new contract arrays has also begun, and in that same year, the Academy held a large-scale ranking assessment of geniuses. All outstanding students from the 3 colleges participated. The goal is simple: to test the true strength of the younger generation. The day the registration list is announced, my name appears at the very beginning. Wen Yen, Scarlet Moon Territory, 2 top-tier talents, a formal wizard, elf breeder, dragon breeder. Many people realize this for the first time. That boy who was once just a rumor, they have truly grown up. And I looked at the list of candidates to be assessed. I felt no nervousness, because I know this assessment is not the end. It was just a test to confirm my current location. The real goal, forever, is in a farther place. A 7th-tier true spirit wizard, eternal life, a vast territory that belongs to oneself, and the legendary 9th-order omniscient wizard realm. My path. This is just the beginning. On the day the genius assessment began, I stood in the central square of the Imperial Capital Academy. All the young powerhouses from the 3 academies were present. I've been accumulating experience over the past few years. Cultivation, research, raise spirits, training the dragons, build your own team. Today is the first time I've proven to everyone just how far I've come. The assessment content is divided into several parts: fighting, runes, contract, territory planning, resource management. Many people believe that the most important quality for a young wizard is his combat prowess. But a true lord wizard needs comprehensive abilities. The first test was rune construction. A large number of new students began to delineate their own core arrays. Some people are very fast. Some people have very high accuracy. When it was my turn, the entire venue fell silent. I raised my hand. Golden runes kept appearing. Attack array, defense array, mental support array, space-assisted array. 4 systems are being implemented simultaneously. The judges looked at my work and remained silent for a long time. Your mind see. Why can it support so many different systems? I just smiled. Because I've always been looking for the path that suits me. The tutor did not press the matter further. Everyone has their own secrets. The second test is contractual ability. This one, Diora, became my proof. She stood in the summoning area. A giant dragon phantom appeared behind him. Crimson obsidian spreads its wings. Blazing flames shot into the sky. The entire square instantly erupted in cheers. Many students were seeing the power of the Dragon Knight for the first time, but they didn't know. This is just the beginning. Future. My Dragon Knight Legion will be far stronger than it is now. The last item in the assessment. Territory Development Plan. Many students simply design cities. Planning resources. My proposal silenced all the mentors. The elves are in charge of agriculture and medicinal herbs. The dragons are in charge of minerals and energy. The knight is responsible for defense. The wizard was in charge of the research. Teleportation arrays connect various areas. The talent system is constantly evolving. This is not a city. Rather, it is a complete and developing civilization system. After reviewing the document, the mentor in charge of the evaluation only said one sentence: if your plan can be realized, in the future, a new super territory will emerge in the south. The assessment is over. My name has officially come into the view of the top echelons of the capital. At the same time, Marquise Scarlet Moon, Hetherin, has found me again. She looked at me. Now that I had grown up, a hint of relief appeared in his eyes. Wen Yen, I chose to invest in you back then. Many people think it's just a bet placed in advance. Now it seems, this investment is more worthwhile than I imagined. I said, without the Marquis' help, I wouldn't have gotten to where I am today so quickly. Heatherland shook her head. Resources can help a person grow, but it cannot determine a person's future. What truly determines your future is your choices. A few years later, the rotation of territories in the south of the Empire has begun. According to the rules, I have gained a territory of my own. That day, countless people came to the new territory. The elves began building a forest city. The Dragon Knight Legion guards the skies. The Knights' army established a defensive line. The Wizard Research Institute began operating. That war Orphan. They finally owned their own land. But Lazoran has come to my territory again. The old man looked at everything before him. Her eyes were slightly red. Young master, if the master and mistress are watching from heaven, we will be proud of you. I remained silent for a long time. He then said, the path they left behind. I will keep going. Time keeps passing. My abilities continue to improve. 2nd tier wizard, 3rd tier wizard, 4th tier wizard, 5th tier wizard, a 6th tier wizard. Every breakthrough. Storage spaces will unlock new capabilities, unlimited resources. It allowed me to grow at a rate that others could not imagine. But I have never stopped learning, because I know, the stronger the power, with great responsibility comes great responsibility. Final. After countless years of accumulation, I have entered the realm of a 7th tier true spirit wizard. That moment, the level of life has been completely changed. Time can no longer bind me. Eternal life. It has finally come true. However, I didn't stop, because the 7th level is not the end point. A powerful being from the Saint Realm once told me this. This world has a legendary 9th order omniscient wizard. That is the ability to see through the rules of the world, explore the realm of the origin of all things. Then, I will lead my civilization forward. The elves explore the mysteries of life. Dragons explore mineral veins in the starry sky. Wizards study the rules of the world. My territory continues to expand. From a piece of land, it became a vast territory spanning the continent. Many years later, someone asked me, Wen Yen, if I could choose again, would you still choose the unlimited storage ability? I think of that ordinary young man from my past life. I recall that choice that came about by chance. He recalled giving up his immortality and choosing to start from scratch. Then he laughed. Meeting, because of true eternity. Life is not given by others. Instead, it's through our own strength. To the ends of the earth. Final. I stand at the highest point in the world. I saw sights I could never have imagined before. And the story belongs to Wen Yen. And finally, a new beginning is on the horizon.